Hey, how's it going, folks? I just don't have this particular idea, but it just kind of popped into my mind. Just to think very carefully about the whole thing is the fact that um, just try to make sense. I know in the past couple of videos I do talk about it, but I want to be very strong, firmly strong about this topic. And it's basically talking about, like, you know, if I went through the last video that I made. It was basically insurance, right? And you got to be very tough on insurance. But if you're raised by a woman, by mothers, you learn to not to fight. You turn to stay back, wait, and not to be needy or whatever. And things will come on its way, whatever. Yeah, that only works in the institution level. You gotta respect one or the other, or whatever. Father's in a different side of it. Father's like teaching kids to be how to be rough and tell them about life is not easy. You gotta fight for whatever you wanted, whatever. And I'll be honest with you guys, if I didn't communicate with the insurance, right, and I made so many phone calls yesterday, and if I don't push them, if I don't ask, if I don't seek, if I be like one of those, sit behind, and what mother's like, oh, sit back, it will wait, just drag, it's okay, it'll come along. It will never come along, right? And I've realized when I look at my life and my career, if I was continue that level, right, of doing that, then I wouldn't get where I am today. And you have to have the notion to go out there, seek survival. No one is behind you feeding your family or whatever. You have to kick in yourself. You got to be a fighter straight away. You got to be bang on the head to toe. I know when I was in the relationship with my baby mama, at the time we weren't having kids, but I was so lazy waiting off, oh, someone's going to do it. Nobody's going to do it for you unless you do it, alright? And nobody's going to fight for you or anything. And back the areas that I fought for, it was, I went there and did it. I didn't stop and wait or whatever. You got to be pushy. And when you have that attitude, you get somewhere. People say, he's banging on it. You're not going to flick on the side, because the longer it delay or dragged on, you're getting weakened and you don't know what to do. You've forgotten half the things, and you got mellowed down. And I have this flashback moment when I saw my cousin, right, or my uncle in Sydney in a recent, probably like 3 weeks ago. I saw him being weak and let the wife ran him over and the entire family. And I understand in my mum's culture that usually the woman is a chatterbox and everything. And obviously I know for the fact that my uncle earns more money than my aunt, right, at that particular setting. But when I look at it, I'm like, man, look at the generation that we're in right now. We have literally let husband and fathers being so weak right in front of their family. And of course, we're going to get rammed on and everything like that. And I look at those who are not weak right in front of their wives. And I look at, in a comparison, both of them. And I saw them too, and I saw the way how they raise their kids is completely different. Like the kids grew up to be very tough or whatever. Don't care about education level. Disregard education level. What I'm saying is, like, do it in life, like how to handle real problem, real stress, real problem solving in life issues. And when I look back at it and then I see the whole thing, I'm just there, I'm like, wow, that is crazy to know, like how things work. And we are in a lost generation. Definitely is in a lost generation, because husband have to tiptoe everywhere what he does. And and the wives or girlfriend will pull the D card all the time, or split up card, or fighting, and we want to avoid the whole thing. And when I look back in my relationship, the times that I hold back and I have to fight for it, it's just too much headache to go through. Sometimes you don't want to go through all that headache. And it's just so weird, the whole thing, to think about the whole thing, and it's hard. And I know that we all raised in the Western world to be, respectful and things like that, but it only works in a certain way. There's certain fields it cannot be like that. And I'm not here to say X, Y, and Z, but if you look at the real patriarchal countries, whether, of course, the countries are not doing well because of, they didn't have the unlimited capacity of having the World Bank or good credit score or borrowing money or whatever, but they have a very strong family unit. And you look at us, everything is a business transaction. For example, right? If a husband or wife or a boyfriend or girlfriend working, right, or long term, whatever, right? The husband or the boyfriend's money is the family's money. The wife's or the girlfriend's money is her money. And then when a man makes, they have to give a portion to the wife. I understand, men is hunted in the back in the days, and the woman's gathering. I understand that concept, but when you have too much and the power trip, because she's the one who's holding all the cash, whatever, you'll pretty much have to kowtow everything what she says. And when you have like that, it becomes a problematic, because you're pretty much screwed, all right, with the whole thing. And when I look at the whole thing back at it again, there is no real, it's just a power trip, ego. And of course, in today's world, we have money. Money has zeros on the end. We want more zeros, right? And back in the days, we don't talk about that. Back in the days, we do trade. We trade for this, for a loaf of bread or rice or whatever. It can be seasonal. It's not about money. It's about what was value worth. And obviously, the particular thing worth more money, you get whatever. But now things is manufacturing, or houses being built within a couple months. But back in the days, houses are being built is eternity for your family, all right? It's a community to build houses, like the Amish people. But to look at the whole thing, it's sad to see that everything is a business transaction. Everything what you do, the moment you get into a relationship, is a business transaction. And that being said, I don't know what else I could say here, but it's just, this whole business transaction and whatever is just killing the whole thing.